Howdy, this is Eddie with another episode of Corn-Fed Bushcraft. Today I want to take a brief second, give you a little bit of a walkthrough on assembling your own knife handle, putting together your own knife using antler and bone. Alright, first off, let me walk you through the antler here. Alright, this here, where my hand is going to be the part you would want off of an antler. It's got the nice little crown here on the end. Most antlers are not long enough from here to make a grip, so you wind up having to slice this off. You want to get it as close as possible to make a straight line down the antler. You're going to come to approximately right in here, 4.5 to 5 inches long, depending on the size of your hand. From inside the crown here is where you want to measure now. After you get this cut off, you're going to sand it down so that it's a smooth, round surface. You're going to sand up any rough edges. You're going to polish this right here. You really want this to shine. It'll have a pearl look to it. It'll be ivory, if you will. That's what it'll look like. It'll look more ivory than pearl. But this is about the right size. You don't want to get too huge unless it's just a gigantic knife. You want something that'll feel comfortable in your hand. Alright, when you get that done, you'll have a piece like this. Now I know you notice this piece is darker. This piece here has been boiled in tea grounds. As you can see, the part I polished took a real deep walnut color. So did the side where I cut that tine off that I was telling you to make sure to cut and get rounded and smooth. Alright, here on the end you can see I kind of beveled that down to fit a plate across there, a finger guard or whatever. You can see everywhere that I ran the sandpaper and sanded down real smooth took that deep walnut color. Alright, right here, here's another example. This one's a little ashier color. Still took the dark hue. This one was dyed with coffee grounds. Same principle, boiling water, soaking them in that. Changes the bone color totally. Makes for a beautiful handle though. Alright, once you've completed that part and you've chose the grip, you know, the piece of the antler you want to make your grip out of, decided if you wanted to dye it or not. Next comes to picking out a blade. Blades can come from just about anywhere. This here is a hand forged blade out of an old file. I'm using this just for an example. As you can see, it's got a half-length tang on it. Sometimes when you buy a knife and disassemble it just to get the blade, the tang is only really 1/4 of an inch long, and sometimes it has a rod that runs off of it. That rod has a tendency to break, so if you have the capability of running a little bit of bead around that rod to extend the length and extend the stability, I would highly recommend it. You want at least 1 inch to 2 inches worth of tang to slide down into that antler. Anything less than that, and you run the risk of the blade coming off while you're using it, causing some serious injury. Like I said, this is just an old file that had been hammered and heated and hammered and heated and hammered. Makes for a pretty good rustic looking blade. Here personally lately I've just been buying knives that had the blade style I want and modifying the tang to the desired length and everything that I need for my knife handles. After you've chosen the blade, you'll then want to take your antler. You'll want to come on top, and then you'll measure the tang of the knife that you wish to put down into that antler. And like I say, some of them have a round rod, some of them are flat. And you're going to want to center that and drill that exact depth of your tang. Now if your tang's flat, there's a cutting bit you can buy to go back and forth sideways and cut a flat groove straight down into that antler. If it's round, got the round rod, it's still going to have a little bit of flat surface, about 1/4 to 1/2 inch. that you'll have to do that with. Dremel works great for that. Most people use a two-part epoxy. I find Gorilla Glue works just as well, and it's very strong, holds up to incredible force. You want to use a air compressor and blow out any dust that's in there. You don't want to get all that in your glue. Apply a small amount of glue as when using Gorilla Glue, because it multiplies its size by at least 3. Place the knife blade down in there and put it on a clamp. Clamp the blade and the butt crown, if you will, here. Clamp them together. Let them sit there overnight. Let it harden real good. I've even gone as far as, making my own finger guards and stuff like that, sliding it on before I slid it down into the antler. It just all depends on how fancy you want to get with it, how nice of a knife you're wanting to make, or if you're just wanting to make a practical, useful knife. I mean, I've made everything from, ugly knives that were incredibly strong and practical up to real nice fancy knives with turquoise in them and things of that nature. But never plan on building a knife that ain't going to be able to be used. I just don't see any point in it. Here we have my latest knife that I have just finished. As you can see, it's just a frost cutlery blade, brass finger guard off of the knife. I bought a knife off of eBay a few months back and decided it was time to go ahead and do what I needed to do to it. As you can see, that's the tine cut off, polished. It's got that real nice ivory look to it. On the end there, let's see if you can get a decent look. That's an inlaid piece of turquoise. I took a Dremel and hollowed out that end enough to fit the size of the turquoise. Used the same Gorilla Glue that I used to hold the blade in, and turned out to be a really beautiful knife. One I would be proud to carry and display anywheres. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better or stronger knife than this. Alright, I am aware that I didn't actually show you the process and how to assemble this, but if you've ever put together a knife or have watched anybody put one together, it is a very lengthy process, and to make a video of the actual process would be a lot of cutting in pieces the video together. So I figure most people, a little common sense, can listen to the description of how one's being put together and figure it out. It's really not too difficult of a process. Plus, there are a lot of videos out there of people actually assembling them, and every one of them I've seen so far has been real choppy. 30 seconds here and then click over. 2 hours later, another 30 seconds, and I just don't see the real point in that when you can explain the whole process straight through and get the same results. So this has been another episode of Corn Fed Bushcraft, and until next time.